typical 18th century shirt has cuffs that are tightly fitted, very narrow, and fastened with sleeve links or sleeve buttons, an early version of cufflinks consisting of two buttons joined together. Nowadays we tend to associate cufflinks only with very formal dress, but in the 18th century, sleeve buttons were worn all the time by everyone, from the very rich to the very poor, both on men's shirts and on earlier styles of women's shifts. It's an easy detail to miss if you're looking at portraits, what with ruffles and coat cuffs usually blocking the view, but thankfully there are lots and lots of extant ones we can look at. They come in a pretty wide variety of styles. There are round ones, oval ones, octagons, hexagons, squares, buttons set with colored glass, a few odd shapes like crowns or scallop shells, and a lot of buttons commemorating various events such as royal marriages or coronations. On some pairs the buttons are joined together with specially made little findings, but a plain oval of wire appears to be most common. Most of these look like they were soldered together, but on some of them there's a little gap, so we're going to make that one because it's the easiest to do at home. To make them, you will need 4 metal shank buttons. It's hard to find exact matches unless you get reproduction buttons, but with so many different styles you can find a lot that are close enough. At my local fabric store I found these cute little pinwheel ones which reminded me of this pair. These floral ones which are not great but kind of similar to this pair. And these ones aren't similar to any specific sleeve buttons I've seen, but I think they look neutral enough to be historically adequate. And in my button stash I found some checkerboard ones. The average size for sleeve buttons appears to be about 1 to 1.5 centimeters, so all of these are a good size. You will also need 2 large jump rings. I got these at Michael's in a pack with 3 different colors. They're sturdy enough not to bend accidentally and are 1.1 centimeters across. The only other thing you need is 2 pairs of needle nose pliers. Start by squashing the middle of your jump ring flat between the wider end of the pliers so that it opens up and resembles the letter C. You'll want to flatten those curved ends a bit too. Then bend the 2 ends in towards each other until they meet and you've got a long thin oval. Open up the oval by bending the points sideways away from each other, like so. Put your 2 buttons on there, bend them back in again to close it, and that's it. Do that again and now you've got a pair of 18th century sleeve links. You could put the buttons on earlier and then try to bend it closed into an oval shape, but it's way easier to bend it to the right shape first and then put the buttons on. You could also use pieces of wire cut to about 3.5 centimeters long instead of a jump ring, but I don't have any wire that's strong enough for that, so I haven't tried it. If you do decide to do that, then the method should be mostly the same, just file down the tips a bit so they're not sharp enough to stab you. I've also seen a couple pairs where the wire is bent into an S shape with a closed loop at each end, so that's an option. One of my pairs of pliers has those little grippy ridges and they kind of scratched up the jump rings, so it's probably better if both pairs are smooth. To put them on, you simply button them through the buttonholes at either end of your shirt cuffs. When I make my shirt cuffs, I aim for a finished length that's 1 centimeter longer than my wrist measurement. I should note that while I'm calling them shirt cuffs, every period source I've seen calls them wristbands. These only take a few minutes to make, and you can be extravagant and make a lot of them for very little money. Here are some others I made a while ago with cheap rhinestone buttons that are the same shape as some of the ones with paste stones. The ones I wear most often in my everyday wardrobe are these ones with little flowers, though now that I have several more pairs I can wear a wider variety. Your sleeve links should be good for the entire 18th century. I've also seen some listed as late 17th or early 19th century, but I haven't researched those eras, so I don't know when they first became popular or when they fell out of use. I do get the general impression that the smaller ones with the paste stones are more early 18th century and late 17th century, and that you see the oval ones more in the second half of the 18th century, but I could be wrong about that. You don't start to see wide shirt cuffs with buttons sewn on until the very, very end of the 18th century, and it's easy to get confused when there are so few extant shirts out there, and especially since some of the ones we do have been altered and had their cuffs replaced at a later date. The first, at least 5 or 6 shirts I made in my early years of historical sewing had wide cuffs with buttons sewn on because of this. Every image I used in this video is in the accompanying blog post with a source link, and I've also linked my Pinterest board in the description if you want to see more sleeve buttons, plus a few other pages with even more if you want to see a truly excessive amount of them. If you feel like spending a lot of money on more historically accurate sleeve buttons, there are some places that sell reproductions, and I've linked those in my blog post too. Thank you for watching.